Hello, visionary. So how is everybody doing today? So you're going to have to bear with me for a second here. I am going to have to share because we're having a couple of technical difficulties. So just bear with me for a second. And I am going to just see if I can do this on my own. I usually have a couple people helping me, but we're having some issues, and so they are not available. So if you guys could just hang tight. If you're here live, if you could let me know if you could see everything okay, if you can hear me, and where you are tuning in from. Okay, hold on a second. Let me see if I can figure this out. I'm getting there, getting really, really close. So hold on one second. Yikes. Sorry, guys. I don't see where it says I can share into my event. That's a real bummer. Okay, I wanted to share in the event. Let me just try one other thing. Okay. So, hi guys. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. You can see me? Oh, good. You're on Facebook. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much for letting me know. I so appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, we're having some technical difficulties over here. And so I'm on my own right now. And usually I have let's see. Whoops, there goes my hair. Hi. Hey. Oh my God. Hey, Alexis. Aw. Hey, Awakening Warrior Woods of Wisdom. Hey, Jen Fry. Oh my God. From Wisconsin. Okay. So thank you guys for letting me know. And I'm super psyched about this topic. So just give me 3 more seconds to get everything situated. I want to ask you guys a question, okay? If you are here live, type in the chat if you know what your motivation is, okay? So motivation is what we're talking about today. So type it in the chat what your motivation is. Whoops, I don't need to do that. Hold on a second. So type it in the chat if you know your motivation and what your motivation is. So just an FYI, my motivation is innocence. My transference is desire. So type in the chat what your motivation is and if you know your transference. So I just have one more super quick thing to do. I'm going to try and post this in the events because some people are in the event. So I'm going to see if I can just do this really quickly. And then I'm going to get to the fun, juicy intel. Oh my God, I totally did it. I'm so incredibly proud of myself right now. It's the little things in life you need to celebrate. Okay, we're good to go. We're good to dive deep into the intel. If anyone feels like they want to share, because I don't have my team here sharing, if anyone feels they want to share this video, share out to your community, and we will start building a cool vortex of energy. But whoever's meant to be here is perfectly here right now. So Alexis is guilt. Awesome. Okay, transference is hope. Motivation is hope. Okay, good. We got hope and we got motivation and transference right there. How very cool. All right. If you don't know, just type I don't know. Just type I don't know in the chat if you don't know. Motivation guilt. Okay, cool. Cool, Jen. So have you do you feel that resonates for you? So if your motivation is guilt, then your transference is hope. Do you guys resonate with that one? So so for me, my motivation, like I said, it's in a sense. I would say I spent most of my life like in my transference, which is desire, like big time, huge, like most of my life. It was so shocking when I found out I was innocent. I was really like kind of bummed about it. But the worst part about it was realizing that, that most of the time I was living in my transference. So do you guys relate to that? You do? Yeah, it's interesting, right? So crazy. So this is what we're going to talk about today. So FYI, if you guys have any trigger warnings about the supernatural, then maybe this isn't the content. This content is going to maybe trigger some people. So I just want to give you that right now, because what this part of human design, so what I'm going to be talking about today is the Rave Cosmology. I'm getting such a bad reflection on my glasses. Okay, sorry guys. Glasses is coming off. But now I can't read anything, but you know how it is. So I'm going to try and read the chats as they come. But okay. So let me shift gears. I'm going to get ready to dive into this content. So everybody who's here live, do you know your motivation? So we've got a lot of guilt here. We've got a lot of hope. So this is really cool. Does anyone else know your motivation? And if you're listening to the recording, go ahead and type it in as well. I do go back and comment on as many comments as I can. So definitely type it in. So today what we're talking about is Rave Cosmology. Literally my brand new, seriously inspirational rabbit hole that I have just, like dove into the deep end with. And it's really interesting how the universe does this. When I start diving into content, the universe and my experiences start really responding to what I'm studying. And so right now I'm having really intense experiences and really being asked to hold higher frequency. And sometimes that means things getting thrown at you, attacks, like, people commenting in strange ways, different types of dynamics in the inner circles, family dynamics, things like this that really challenge you to step into these higher frequencies. And then the doors begin to open through spiritual awakenings. And that's what I'm noticing for me. So the Rave Cosmology is all about the spiritual awakening. Now, what's really, really interesting about this is that we are all bombarded all day long with all of these forces. And so everyone is getting communication from, and this is according to Ra, but I'm also putting my own spin on my own experiences of being like a full seeker and transformational mystic. Or what you could say is I've been a mystic seeker. So I've been having experiences since my 20s and opening the doors of the other side and having all kinds of radical experiences. And so I'm using not only just the information from Ra in his Rave Cosmology, and Ra is the founder of human design, but also my own experience. So let's put it this way. The veil is very thin and we're all getting communications from the other side. This includes the angels. It includes, don't let these words scare you, the demons, the ghosts, the gods, the entities, and the aliens. So these are the words that Ra has chosen to use for Rave Cosmology. And these energies are around us all the time. And so if you're tapping into those dynamics and you're having experiences, any type of experience, okay, you're having these energies, you're communicating with these energies, it's happening to everyone all the time. It's a huge dynamic force. So the idea here is that we're training you through your human design and your aura mechanics how to balance out your own inner authority, your own stand. It's like a aura hygiene, so that you can interpret what's coming through in a clear lens. Okay. And if you look at the world right now, most people are just reacting. They're just unhinged. They're scared. They're wobbly, and they're just acting out in crazy ways. Do you guys notice that? Is anyone like experiencing that? So, so what we're doing today is I want to take it one step back. So if you've just jumped on, I am going live in a couple different places. So if you've, wherever you are, if you've just jumped on, go ahead and type in the chat what your motivation is if you haven't already. We're going to start with the 4 radical transformations. Hi, Lisa. You made it. So Lisa, what's your motivation? What's your motivation? So let me step back for a second for those of you guys who are new to this and give you the one step back to open up the door to the other side. So I love this shiz, right? So basically your human design information is a GPS system to awaken you to your purpose, to your highest calling, and to a practical life that you love. Okay, so when you utilize the tools, it really helps you understand who you are, and also help you understand your relationships and how different everybody is. Then you learn that that's your first step, right? Now, beneath the surface, you go one step deeper and you expose the 4 radical transformation. That's, are you digesting life and eating properly? Are you living in the right environment? When you're in the right environment, according to Ra, you then see the world properly. You view the world properly. So in other words, if you're not in the right environment, then what you're seeing are things that are not necessarily correct for you. So if you're feeling like you're in the wrong environment, then oftentimes the people you meet, the jobs you go into, the neighbors, like everything is off. Like, have you guys experienced that? Like, if you're in the wrong environment, then everything surrounding you is a little bit off, right? Okay, sorry, you guys. I'm going to have to put my glasses on because I want to read some chats, okay? I know this is so bad. Like, okay, let me see. I don't remember the name of my motivation, but it's the one I think about learning just to know. The transference is the one about fixing stuff. Oh, right. Yeah, so that's your guilt also. Hope. I'm sorry, your hope with guilt transference. Yeah. Yeah. Motivation, release, and growth. Awesome, Trudy. So we're talking about your motivation based on your human design chart. So the motivations are either, the first one is fear, the second one is hope, your third one is desire, the fourth one is wait, oh my God, did I just lose my mind? The fourth one is fear, not fear, the opposite of fear, which is need. So need, guilt, and then innocence. And they work in harmonics. So the most important thing to know is that the not self theme of the motivation is your transference, right? Right? So yours, Pam, yours is fear. Okay, so awesome. So what I noticed about fear, one of the things we really discovered with my community about fear is that most people whose motivation is fear, usually what that means is that they're not afraid of anything. Like they have the most natural like calm around fear. So they're the ones who are like the people who are the most neutral around panic, right? So there, but fear really, the motivation of fear really is more about curiosity, like the curiosity of the unknown and letting the curiosity drive your life, as opposed to being in the transference of taking care of people's needs. And if you're out there taking care of the needs, like, you know, what the needs of your husband, the needs of your friends, the needs of your, even your clients, rather than leaning into the curiosity of what they, you know, the curiosity of what's unknown, right? Yeah, so that is a really interesting one. Oh, the fear motivation and the need transference, right? Yep, so that's the one. So it really is about leaning into the curiosity and like continuing to move forward based on curiosity. And the people who are in panic, in fear mode that you saw, like when, well, you see it all the time. But like when the pandemic first happened and everyone was like in panic mode, buying all the toilet paper and stuff, that's usually those people who are in need, but living in their transference, which is fear. So anyone who's operating in the extreme out of control, it's usually those people who are in their transference. Okay, so that's the most interesting thing about this stuff. You really get to see it in the world around us, in the world around you, because we are living in a not self world. Most people, just like you could say, most people are unconscious and most people are kind of living in their transference. So it really is very, very interesting to witness, right? The TP hoarding, that for sure was the transference, like just total chaos, craziness, right? That is definitely the transference. Oh, good. So you've been tons of meeting the needs this year, and it's been good because I'm balancing it out better. That's exactly it. You have to learn how to balance it out. So for me, for anyone else who's innocent, my transference is desire. And so we naturally fall into desire and agenda. And innocence is really about being in, you know, just being in the agendaless consciousness. And it's about not having a specific desire with your actions, except to like sort of be present and be the, you know, kind of be the witness, be the work, be your divine life purpose. And it's an interesting one because people do not like innocence very much. Like if you'll notice, like the bullies of the world, they like to totally attack the innocents. And so what it creates for most people who are innocents is like a lot of armor and like battling. So I spent a lot of my life with heavy armor, battling, and trying to protect my innocence. And, you know, then I don't even get to be in my innocence at all. And so it's a really interesting dynamic. And the more you live your design, the more you become in environments, if you're in the right environment, which for me is caves. So if you guys notice, I create sort of a cave-like energy to invite you guys into so that you guys can kind of be with me in this environment. So when we're in a right environment, there's a protection. And for me, it's about the protection to be able to expose my innocence. So I can only do that with the right people who have enough wisdom to recognize the beauty of innocence, right? Yeah, exactly. So you guys are getting this, right? You're getting this a little bit. Does anyone else not know their motivation? Go ahead and type it in the chat what your motivation is. So if you don't know it, then let me know and I'll help you discover what yours is. Okay. So sounds kind of like my fear. Yeah, it is. I mean, some of them have similar themes. I think that hope, it has a similar theme too. They do have these kind of similar themes that run through them. But the idea here is that when you fix your color. So once you start seeing the world in the right way, and you begin to perceive the world properly through your own inner authority, your GPS system, you're digesting life properly, you're living correctly as yourself, you begin to be able to live in your motivation, your correct motivation, then you open the door to this next level of Rave Cosmology. And this is something that you're opening the door to something that's always there, but you're able to now perceive it correctly. So when I say you open the door to what's always there, we're bombarded by information from the other side. And if you're not getting that information, you are usually overwhelmed with the thoughts of the mind. So if you notice, like when you meditate, sometimes that's when you start getting your downloads. It's because you've quieted the mind and you're able to bring in information and you're able to get higher frequency of knowledge. Does that make sense to you guys? So Kat, if you don't know, email me at support@raquelreina.com and I'll help you with figuring it out. So anybody else that doesn't know, also you can, if you guys want to, there's a link to the Foxy 5D page, and there you can grab your advanced chart, and you can find out all 4 of your 4 radical transformations. Yeah, or you can email me. I can't just do it right now because I have to pull your chart. So if I don't have your chart yet, then I have to pull your advanced chart and kind of look at it. Yeah. And so if that information is constantly coming through, okay, so that means that we're constantly dealing with how we're interpreting that information. So in other words, like if you look throughout history, right? You're seeing people who are channeling or having experiences with the divine angel or Mary Magdalene. They're having sightings, or they're receiving messages from the gods, right? Or they are channeling aliens, and all of this stuff is really available actually to everyone. And most people are getting it, but they don't want to deal with it because it's overwhelming. We only have a million other things we have to deal with, right? We have our kids, we have our jobs, we have the highways, we have the mortgages, we have all of life. So it's a energy that's bombarding us. And so the easiest thing to do is to block it. But if you guys notice right now, there's so much craziness coming into the world that people are not really able to sort through all of that energy, right? So they're having sorts of energy coming through, but not really able to sort through what the messages are. Hey, Kathleen! Hi, you made it. And so this is why we see so much craziness in the world right now. So many people are really hypersensitive and they're feeling unstable. So they need to take a stand and they're trying to stabilize in an unstable world. And so if you don't agree with them, if you do anything that makes them feel triggered inside, then they just attack and belittle and shame. And that's like their immediate go-to is like, let me attack, belittle, and shame so I can kind of give myself a leg up and feel a little bit more stable, right? And so we're seeing that out there in the world right now is people just like being unable to navigate the rocky seas. And so when you put on top of that, getting like transmissions from angels and, openings from aliens and education from the other side, it's a little bit overwhelming, right? And so what we're talking about in human design, which I freaking love, because the aura mechanics really help us to map out a system to follow for our most satisfying life. And it's a systematic approach, an aura mechanics system approach to being able to navigate everything that's going on around us. And what most people report after learning their inner authority, they report a sense of peace and calm, regardless of what's happening around them, regardless of the news, regardless of, I mean, obviously, if you're in the middle of some very intense storms and hurricanes and fires and everything that we're seeing, it's going to be intense. But what human design is saying is that oftentimes your inner authority will guide you to leave that area like a week in advance, or it will guide you exactly what you need to do to protect yourself, or it will like provide you to, hey, maybe this week go grab some cans or whatever to prepare this week. So it's basically providing you with the inner authority guidance to be able to take care of yourself during unstable times. And so then once you align to this, then we move into proper motivation. And the motivation flips back and forth. It flips from the being stable in your motivation or living in your transference, as we've been talking about in this live. And so what the Rave Cosmology is doing is saying that once you are able to really listen to the channelings on the other side and interpret the information you're getting properly, then you're going to be downloaded with higher levels of intelligence. You're going to be downloaded with higher education to bring forward to your community, your clients, your families. So if any of you have experienced listening to channels that you really respect, if you look out there and you see channelers that are receiving higher intelligence information, that when you open up to those fields, you really get to align to some beautiful information, right? Do you guys have any people like that you really respect? I don't know if you've heard of Paul Selig, but he's someone that I really respect. He's clairaudient and he's gathering the intel, and he's a channel. He's just a pure channel. He's got some amazing intel that comes through. And what human design is saying is this is all based on your aura mechanics, that your human design aura mechanics can show you how to open up to this information and how to be more clear to understand what it's trying to bring forward for you. So is that friggin' interesting or what? Like, I find that to be super fascinating, particularly as a projector. We're here to master systems, and we're here to know people through systems. It helps us to know people through systems. And now it's really important to know the other world, our higher intel, through a systematic approach, meaning we can actually aura mechanically understand these downloads. And I think it's really important because I also know that when I cracked open and started having these mystical experiences, I also witnessed many, many people crack open and be unable to navigate. So some people were had to go in and out of different facilities to stabilize themselves. And, obviously there's a lot of complexities to that. But I have witnessed people be unable to mentally handle those other worlds. And it's a very scary thing. I'm not going to say it's not scary, but what they do is they then just shut everything down. They shut down any rooms or any potential for any type of spiritual awakening at all, and just go into a total, superficial world, so they don't have to deal with how insane it can be if you're misinterpreting that information. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Oh, Lois Wetzel for her past life studies. Yeah, I love. Oh, very cool. I don't really know her work that much. Oh, I'm thinking Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon's another one who she's not on the planet anymore, but she does tons and tons and tons of books on the past life and what happens on the other in between, like in between past lives too, which is really interesting. I'm aware when I'm downloading huge, some things come clear as in answers and other things huge flood in. I feel it physically. Trudy says, I do too. Big time. Feeling big time. Yeah. And that's why, to me, this is such an interesting study. And I want to share with you guys a little bit about Rave Cosmology. And I want to invite you guys to a bonus class that's going to happen on Saturday. It's going to be really cool because I'm going to be doing it from the vortex, meaning from Sedona vortex. So I'm going to be doing the class from a high frequency energy grid. And it's a Zoom class. It's free. You're all invited, but you do need the Zoom link to attend. So if you want to get the Zoom link, just put Zoom link in the comments, or you can email me. You do need to know your 4 radical transformations. You need to know your motivation, because that's the baseline where this rabbit hole comes from. So you have to know those basics, and I can help you kind of understand that before Tuesday if you want to join in. So you can let me know. It's going to be a super powerful class. So grab the Zoom link and join in. Mark your calendar, Tuesday, September 7th at 333. And the Zoom is really fun because I can kind of look at your charts and we can go a little bit more. And if you need the replay of that, you have to email me, Pam. And I think you have, right? So I think I have you on the list. Yeah. Okay, so let me talk to you guys a little bit about Rave Cosmology and what it does. So not only does it give you the map to what you're downloading, so it's like a map to whether your information, what you're downloading and how to interpret it. It then fixes your color. So it moves you into a color that you can hold. So instead of bouncing back and forth between your motivation and transference, you're going to solidly stand in your motivation and be able to hold that for all of your family, community, and clients. So you're not going to be underwater with the transference, okay? That's the intention. It also goes through the mystical path, the awakening of the shaman, the awakening of the Buddha, and those grids within human design, that mystical path, and how to understand it, interpret it in your own chart. There's another piece to this puzzle, which is the triggers. So now I love this based on Ra, because Ra Urahu had the mystical experience of his 8-day journey of the voice, which downloaded the human design intel. So if you guys have gotten any ahas from human design, you know that when someone's downloading this something that powerful, it has an impact. So he had an 8-day, after 40 days of fasting, he had an 8-day experience with the voice. And the voice was his encounter that brought forward the human design intel in 1987. I wish I was there. But I was way too young at that point. Just joking. I was, though. But anyways, not to age myself, but 1987. So the voice, he had an 8-day experience where he downloaded the intel. And what he's saying is that he broke it down in his chart, how the aura mechanics set him up for that experience and why he was able to interpret it in that way, and how important these downloads are. And if you love human design like I do, you can definitely affirm that that download was really important. He did decades of a decade or two of a library from that 8-day experience, right? So he has so much information. It took him that long to bring forward the information. And like so many videos and books and so much information about that download. And so to look at it aura mechanically is really friggin' intense. So what he says is that there are certain things in your chart that trigger encounters. Okay, so there's certain things in the chart, and that's what Rave Cosmology does, is it goes through your chart. It goes through all of the things that you could possibly be triggered with and how those triggers are going to react, so that it's not so that you can have an encounter of your own, not like that. It's not like you can set yourself up for an encounter, but it can help you explain the encounters you've had. It can begin to open the doors to that information if you want to understand how to download and how to interpret those downloads, or if you really just want to fix your motivation. Okay, so, or if you are just a spiritual warrior on a spiritual path, or you're doing healing, or you have clients, whatever it is that you're doing, it helps you to awaken your spiritual path. How cool is that, right? So for me, it's like, this is backwards, because I've been a spiritual practitioner first. I came to human design because I couldn't ground my spiritual experiences. I couldn't understand how to practically live a life. Like, I couldn't practically figure it out. Like, I had a lot of wins, but I also had a lot of like, how do I even live on this planet? Like, I really did feel alien my whole life. Like, how do I practically exist here? Does anyone else relate to that? And human design really helped me. It really helped me to understand, like, okay, here's how you live as yourself, and how you can practically have a career, how you can make money, how you can live as yourself, like work a couple hours a day and support yourself, right? Waiting to go home. I relate to that. Although, one of the things I have really learned is like how to find the real appreciation in being here. It's like, we are here now. I mean, I spent so many years just being like, why am I on earth? Like, people are nuts. And then I dropped into this place of like the beauty, the joy, and like really being able to appreciate this time here, because I know so many people want to be here, and I know we're here for a reason, and I know it's a really important time in history, and I know we're here to help this transition. So we might as well try and find a little bit of, sort of like how to be here in our best, most beautiful way that represents our truth, fulfill our purpose, and find the joy. But I hear you, Trudy. I spent a lot of years. I mean, it still pops in my head all the time. Like, please make this my last incarnation, right? But here's the beautiful thing. So I was saying I came out of it from the spiritual and having all these experiences, and then really needed human design to help bring it practical. And then human design slowly, after the practical and after living it, after really learning my design and helping other people. Because if you're a projector or an MG, or, like you don't really know your strategy, learning the basics transforms your life. It just does. And it really brings things to you that you can practically integrate. And so it's become a huge passion of mine to help other people really understand how to integrate this stuff in their lives as well. And then as I kept peeling, but I still didn't see that human design had as much of the spiritual awakening as other things. And I always saw that as a limitation to Ra Uru, the founder, because he was a nihilist and he didn't have as many spiritual awakenings as other people that I've witnessed. And then as I kept peeling the rabbit hole and going deeper and deeper and deeper, thanks to Davidian, who's always bringing me intel to mutate my life, he brought me this other piece to the puzzle, which is this Rave Cosmology, which is now showing the connection between the spiritual, the awakening, and the other side. Jess says, I love him, but he's a nihilist. Yeah, I love him too. And I know a lot of people have had these experiences about Ra, and they have been like cancel culture of the 4 radical transformations, because for whatever reason. I have a video on that if you guys are curious about that discussion. but I just completely disagree, because if you are living this stuff, you absolutely cannot deny that motivation is real. There's just absolutely no way you can deny that. I mean, the transference is so friggin' real. I see it in everybody, and I see it in myself. And so there's just no way to deny. I mean, no one's denying his intel with human design, but people had questioned some of his later work. But I mean, there's just no way to deny it. And there's no way to deny that his encounter was spiritual. He can call it the voice, he can call it whatever he wants, but we know that's a spiritual encounter, right? And so then if you're going to have this encounter, then to be able to aura mechanically explain it, that's freaking genius. It's just fucking genius. Excuse my language. It is just genius. And it was the piece that I needed because of all of my background and my encounters myself. I've never spoken about them. I've never really shared about those experiences that I've had with people who have transitioned, with the aliens, with God, with source, with all of that, because it's just people get so triggered, and because so many people think you're just friggin' nuts. But one of the things that Ross says is that if you are a color 6, then it's really important to bring it forward in your teachings, which I'm also a teacher through my line 5. And so this is what Rave Cosmology is all about. So let me go back and kind of put it together, everything I've talked about so far. So the Rave Cosmology, first, it goes through the 4 radical transformations. Once you understand your motivation, it opens the door to the other side. Once you live correctly, then the downloads you get, you can properly interpret them. And so when you dive into the Rave Cosmology, you're looking at the mystical way. You're looking at your guides. Okay, what is your guide? What is the flavor of your guide? And how is your guide communicating with you? And what is it you're here to bring forward to your community? What are you here to teach? What are you here to educate on? Okay, and then it also goes through why you may have had an encounter, and how you can sort of trigger those encounters by understanding your human design. How cool is that? Do you guys think that's cool? Because I think it's freaking awesome. I'm here for the aliens. Jess, are you a color 6? Are you a color 6? Do you know? So if you guys think that's friggin' awesome and cool, then give me a friggin' yes. I like to see that you guys are with me. Hang on, let me look. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, you probably have a 6 somewhere, like you may have it in your color, or you may have it in your line, but yeah. It's cool, right, Trudy? It's awesome, right? I mean, seriously. For the aliens. Right? It is. I mean, it's so cool. I think it's all badass. It is, right? You guys, so cool. I mean, seriously, it's like mind-boggling. And then why is it so important right now? Well, as you guys know, we're in 2021. So what did we see last year? The beginning of the 7-year cycle to 2027. Okay, so that means the breakdown is already in place. And one of, if you guys are in my level 1, I know Kathleen is here, right? But we had this great quote by my level 1 class. It was like, logic has left the building, because we are moving into the next cycle where there's no logic. So in 2027, there's no logic circuitry. And so look around right now. Look at social media. Look at the news. Look at the fake news. The logic has left the building. Okay, so it's like this is what happens when there's no way to interpret what the friggin' is going on. And so then what happens is that people just start making shit up. And then they start creating fake news. And then they create QAnon, and they create like all different kinds of stuff. And I'm not saying anything about QAnon if anyone's into QAnon, because I do think that one of the main things that people do is they put a seed of truth in the middle of a sea of nonsense, which is like, that's what creates even more chaos. So that when we start going towards 27, not only are you going to see like who knows what, who knows what we're going to see, with the vax, the anti-vax, the the passports, the freaking craziness of the world, the lockdowns, that, the friggin', what the everything that's going on. It's the wild, wild west. It totally is, right? It's just an absolute upheaval. And so right now, when we are starting to see this, you're going to get a lot more communication from the angels, the entities. I mean, have you guys seen people who, I recently saw a lot of friends who were thinking that they were attacked by entities? And so, and I see this in a lot of starseeds and a lot of YouTubers that are channeling aliens. They talk about being attacked by the entities. Well, how about a map to this with human design? How about a grid to understanding what those entities are, why you are getting attacked, and what it really means, or mechanically? Like, I'm watching people about they're taking on this internal battle with the light and the dark, but it's explained in a way that's not personal, so you can take the whole mythology out of it, like what you learned in Catholic school and what you learned in when you were growing up about what the demons were, so that we can take it out of that context and put it in a non-denominational clarity, so we can interpret what the frigging is going on. Because right now we're seeing so much of that all over the place. And if you think it's nuts now with just like the fake news and the vaccines and the anti-vaxxers and all this stuff going on, well, just wait until everyone starts saying, well, this angel told me this and this one told me that. And yeah, some people are able to interpret it correctly, but a lot of people are not. I'm all in. Dreamer, dancer, healing, right? So interesting, right? So pretty damn badass, Jen. It is, right? It's freaking badass, you guys. I mean, seriously, it is so interesting. I'm most interested in what Ross said about 2027 more than anything else. I've been in HD since 2009. So I love everything about 2027 intel. I have a ton of videos on that. By the way, if you haven't seen my videos on that, check them out, because this is really definitely a huge part of it. Is Rave Cosmology is a huge part of that. You cannot talk about Rave Cosmology without talking about 2027. I've done a lot of study on that, and it's really one of the most fascinating things to me too, because he is totally right on. My first video I did before 2020 on what's coming, and people were like, oh my God, it was so accurate. And I'm not saying I'm psychic or anything, although I do have the psychic gate, and I am, I'm not saying I'm so psychic, but it wasn't a psychic thing. It was just detailing the aura mechanics. So I think that you can detail the aura mechanics without saying what it's going to look like on the outside, because we really don't really know. And no matter what Ross said, we don't really know exactly. Like, we know what's going to happen aura mechanically. We know there's going to be a lot of shifts. We know logic is leaving the building. We know there's going to be no more logic. Okay. But we don't know how it's going to look. Like, is it going to be a totalitarian state? Is it going to be, like no internet? Is it going to be people out off the grids having to survive? Like, is it going to be just exactly like it is now, but just a lot of chaos and craziness? And I would never, ever claim to say I know. I would never, ever claim to say I know. But I will tell you that as long as you're following your inner authority, you'll be safe. And that is something you should take a big stand in. Because I will never promote fear. You cannot think clearly when you're in fear. You cannot make rational decisions. But if you are empowered with your inner authority, you will be able to ride this so beautifully. You will be able to grab your popcorn and you will be able to watch the movie and sit back and have some real serious, like, funny laughs about it. I mean, not, you know what I'm saying. Like, funny, like, oh my God, this is nuts, right? Right? Yeah. 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 So, it's an interesting time. Where do I start? So, if you guys want to start, so the best thing to do is just email me. So email me at support@raquelreina.com. It is in the description, but you can just email me and I'll get you everything you need to kind of get started. Okay. And you can, and I'll find out where you are now. Because obviously the first thing you need to do is make sure you know your basics. And then if you guys want to go on this journey with me on Tuesday, you need your Zoom link. And you need to understand your motivation. Okay, so I'll detail it in an email. If anybody who's here that has the ability to type in my email in the chat, support@raquelreina.com, I would love you. I love you all anyways, but I don't have anyone helping me today. If anybody here has the ability to do that, it would be awesome. It's also in the description. Okay, so it's just support@raquelreina.com, and you can just email me and I'll get you started on how to jump in and get the Zoom link and get involved in the journey. Okay, it's going to be really fabulous, like so fabulous. So next Tuesday, I'll show you guys some of the red rocks. I'm going to be in a vortex of energy, and so you will be able to feel the energy of that when we do the first class. Okay, so yeah, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. So actually, hold on, let me see if I can do this. Just give me 1 second. I'll type it in here for you guys. There we go. Okay. So I would like to take this class also. How do I find my transference? So Creative Passion J. I love that, by the way. Just email me. I put my email address right there. And I can help you to figure out the transference. So we do have I'll send you some links so that you can figure it out and then get you ready for Tuesday. So Sodiq, please do not ask people to inbox you. That's not appropriate. Thank you. Go ahead and delete that. Sorry, that's just not appropriate to be spamming the people that are on here live. You got to really watch for that right now. Anyways, that's not appropriate. Thank you, though. All right. So I'm going to wrap up. And whoa, that kind of threw me for a little bit. Okay. But thank you guys all for being here live. And damn spammers. It's like, seriously? You're going to spam the people here live? Come on. Wow. Damn spammers. I mean, I'm telling you, the spammers are out. They are out in force. The trollers and the spammers. They are like really out. Really crazy. Okay. Obviously, she left the building. So yeah, so email me. I'll support you guys in this journey, and it's really fun. It's so fun, right? Thank you for sharing your time with us too. You are so welcome. You are so, so welcome. So by the way, Tuesday's class is free. The transformations are super affordable. If you guys want to buy your 4 transformations, it's super, super affordable, and we're doing a 15% off. If you guys want to get that before, I do have a ton of free videos too to support you. But hey, Christine, really fun, right? All right, guys. So happy Thursday. And I'm really grateful for all of you that were here live and your energy. I could feel this group. Like everybody was so with me on this. You know, we kind of went all the way through this experience, right? And we like kind of tapped in. And I really can feel all of you guys that were here. So everybody here, except for that spammer, you guys are literally like, I can feel your energy. Except for that spammer. Oh my God, it's so funny, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So by the way, Lisa, if you're still here, I'm going to be in Sedona on Tuesday. So I know you moved to Sedona. So anyone else who's in Sedona, let me know if you're there. I'll be there on Tuesday. So that's where we're going to do this class from. So I'm super excited about that. So yeah. So, oh, good. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Awesome. Mind-blowingly amazeballs. Right? Oh my God. So, so, so amazing. Yeah, I'm loving this information. And thank you, Ra Urahu, for your friggin' 40-day fast and your 8-day journey for bringing it forward, right? And now we're all going to be able to integrate this and really hold the space that we need to hold for this next transition of 2027 and the whole, well, it's actually a 400-year cycle. So we got a lot of time to figure it all out. You're back in San Diego? Ugh. I thought you moved to Sedona. All right. Well, anyone else who's in Sedona? All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here live and holding the space with me and going through this journey with me. I really, really love it. I've really loved this experience today. I can really feel you guys. And also, I'm really feeling such an intensity in the energy. And there is just so much intensity right now. So the more you can do to hold your center, be in your own frigging empowerment, your own authority, the easier and easier you will have, the easier and easier time you'll have navigating these rocky seas. So this is my intention. I'm super passionate about it. And I love holding the space for all of you, magical beings and amazing people who are on this journey with me. So thank you all so much. Always nice to see you. So nice to see you. Jess, yeah, I can't wait to. I love you guys. And I will see you guys all Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Mwah. Bye, guys. Astrologically, Jupiter is in my 9th house this year. So travel. Oh, okay. Oh, so you made some friends and then went back to San Diego. All right. Well, then I guess I'll see you in Zoom and I'll bring a little of the Sedona energy back to you. All right. Bye, guys. Mwah.